There's nothing I enjoy more than every week when Dan Orlovsky sees the question and says, "Oh, this is easy." He says it every single
super
week.
easy. Use your brain.
And here we go.
Miami
Miami has won the national championship in college football under 4 different coaches going back to the AP poll era, which started in 1936. There's only one school that has won it with 5. Can you name that school?
Listen, there was
racked their brain around a lot.
Dan Orlovsky sat there. It's easy. As soon as the cameras cut off, he said, I don't know. What is it? It can be tough. I think it's time we stuff this one in. I'm going with Notre Dame.
Are you agreeing or you are going a different direction?
Rudy. Give us Notre Dame.
Come on. Notre Dame is
100%. 100%.
not.
No way.
Yes, it is.
No way.
It's not. He just said it's incorrect.
I can give you the names of the coaches.
It is Ohio State. Paul Brown, Woody Hayes, Jim Tressel, Urban Meyer, and Ryan Day.
Ohio State's all their national championships should be vacated.
But we should have known it was being taken.
And I am being told, ladies and gentlemen,
look who we got.
This is the meeting that needed to happen. The Bussin' Boys and the great Stephen A. Smith. Hello, Stephen A. How are you? Good to see you. Talk to us. How you feeling on the eve? I'm calling it Playoff Palooza. We got 8 playoff games in the next 5 days.
I think people have lost their mind, the people that have been critical of these matchups, acting like, you know what, because Alabama, Georgia, the blue chip schools, or, blue blood schools rather, are not involved. Hell with that. I love these playoff matchups. I really, really do. Miami, could you imagine what it would do for college football if Miami wins the national championship? Indiana's a great story. Ole Miss, because of the whole Lane Kiffin thing, that's a great story. Of course, Oregon with Dan Lanning. But it's so many great stories. It's great competition. I can't wait for these games.
Talk to me about your thoughts on the Lane Kiffin. For those who watch, most people watch your show right after ours. First Take, of course, coming up in 12 minutes. For those who have not heard it, does Lane Kiffin come out looking bad in this? The comparison I made, you'll remember it. Our guys here are too young to remember it. When Bill Frieder left Michigan to go coach Arizona State, Bo Schembechler said, a Michigan man's going to coach our team. Steve Fisher stepped in. They won 6 games and won the national title. That's what this reminds me of.
Well, see, yeah, I like that. But here's my thing. Lane Kiffin is one of those guys that it's almost like he's allergic to looking good. I mean, he just finds a way to look bad. I have no problem with him leaving for LSU. I was on the bullhorn like, yo, it's a blue blood school. I mean, it's LSU. Ole Miss, major props and respect to all of those great fans out there and what have you. But LSU is different level in terms of mystique, tradition, history, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, hey, I don't blame him for that. But then you go and you guys, I watched you guys talking about it this morning. You know what? You want to let some coaches go and coach, but then you didn't think they would beat Georgia. Now that they have, you're pulling coaches back. No, you in or you out. You either let them do it or you don't let them do it. And if you're going to let them do it, you don't go game to game. You make sure you in it until it's over. Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do. And the fact that anything deviates from that. I was listening to Josh earlier, and I get his point about how LSU is paying these guys. I don't want to hear all of that. He's right, but I don't want to hear it. And the reason I don't want to hear it is because you're running the program now. You gave authorization for them to participate in competition against Georgia. What the hell is the problem now? You let them do it before. You run the table. You're there until Ole Miss loses because you're betraying the kids when you do it this way. And that's the last thing that Lane Kiffin should want to come across as doing. It's bad enough in their eyes that you left the school. We all understand why you left to go to LSU. But then to turn around and to nitpick and to say, no, some of y'all going to come back here right now. Charlie White, you could continue coaching. Okay, you could continue doing that. But some of y'all, no. You coming back here. That's wrong.
Especially when he tried posture and said he tried his best to stay with the team throughout the playoffs.
That's right.
Then he flips around, hey, no, you got to come to LSU.
So now it's clear, and you're reminding people what Al Davis and others said about you in the past when you got hired with the Oakland Raiders. Called you a pathological liar, said, questioned your class, et cetera, et cetera. You can't have that if you're Lane Kiffin, particularly at this juncture. And unfortunately, here we are again. Instead of talking about him and a great coach that he is and what he did to build that Ole Miss program over the last 6 years, winning about 74% of his games, having them in this position. When we look at this team, this is Lane Kiffin's team. Right. You can see Golden coaching all you want to. He's been coaching the team the last 6 years. He built the program. He hired the coaches. So this is Lane Kiffin's team. And instead of us talking about what a great job you did as the coach, We're talking about your character as an individual because of how you've elected to handle this, and that's unfortunate.
And we have Josh Pate, and I'm imagining right now our buddies, Michael Irvin is up watching, Ray Lewis is up watching, saying, you guys haven't mentioned Miami the entire morning.
I did.
But I'm saying, but we have spent so much time this morning talking about the storyline about Ole Miss and everything else. How about, Josh, the resurrection of the U and a chance they are one win away from playing for the national championship in their home stadium, something no college team has ever done?
Buddy, we were down in Coral Gables 3 years ago. That's when they were still losing to Middle Tennessee State at home down there, by the way, and had Mario Cristobal on the show. And we got him done and we wrapped him up. And I'm just sitting there in his office, and someone had asked him, he was doing like a pool report, and someone asked him, when are you going to get the U back? What does it take to get the U back? And when I got sold on Mario Cristobal getting the U back was when he looked at me, he hung up that phone. He said, I'm so tired of people asking me when we're going to get the U back. What we did in the 80s, what we did in the 90s will never be replicated because the blueprint we used to do it then is not applicable today. So he looked at me, he said, pounding the fist, I ain't worried about getting the U back. I'm worried about building what the U is going to be because that template's totally different. Now you fast forward 3 years and they're 4 quarters away from playing in their home building for a national championship.
Well,
How about the U? Yeah.
He's lying. He's lying. When you talk about I ain't worried about getting the U back, I'm just yeah. Because if he's gonna find out. Listen, I'm quite familiar with those parts down there.
Yes, you are.
And let me tell you something right now. It's buzzing. Now I liked it before, but it's really, really buzzing right now.
Dolphins?
Because no, definitely because of the Dolphins. We know better than that. Okay, it's because of the Miami Hurricanes. And listen, they won the national championship. I've said this on First Take. Think about what it will do for college football. See, Ole Miss, that's Ole Miss. Indiana, great story, Signetti and the crew. That's Indiana. Okay, Oregon, Dan Lanning, got it. But if Miami wins, now all of a sudden you're starting to think about what college football was in the 80s, in the 90s. They won the national championship in 2001 as well. You start thinking back to what college football was like. And here's the biggest thing. A champion that ain't coming from the Big Ten, a champion that ain't coming from the SEC, that's a big deal too. And I think that's what works.
And just to that lore that you were speaking to, because when you think of Miami, when I was just a young pup growing up, and you understand the lore of what Miami isn't about, the swagger, the physicality, the colors, Greeny, the colors.
Sure.
This team was always seated in the conversation with just the apex predator in college football. And over the last 2 decades, now it's felt like an old tale from a history book to when you're telling kids about the U in Miami, they're kind of looking at you like you're talking about a corded phone in your house, using that and operating the dial and everything else. Now Miami's standing there knocking on the door, trying to remind people and showing us that feeling that we had growing up in college football.
But check this out.
What we loved about
And the
Miami.
coach can't be talking about he ain't worried about returning to the U. Who on the sideline? That's Michael Irvin on the sideline. That's Ray Lewis on the sideline. Ed Reed, Edgerrin James. I know because I was on the sidelines with them a few weeks ago. This is what they do. Don't tell me you ain't worried about, recapturing old glory. Yes, the hell you are. And you should be, because you're on the verge of being able to pull it off. When we see those boys get after a quarterback, I'm telling you, it changes everything. We can sit up there and look at how great Indiana is, but if you are lucky and fortunate enough to get past Chambliss, and then you go up against Mendoza, assuming they beat Oregon, you imagine, these brothers are going to be hunting. You get at them, and you win the national championship, Lord have mercy. It's special, fellas. It's just special.
Stephen A. is 5 minutes away on First Take. So good to see you, my
Good to
man.
see
Thank
y'all.
you for popping in here.
Take it easy,
Once
man.
again, college football playoff
Thank you.
semifinals
Keep up the great
tonight
work, fellas.
on ESPN and ESPN Deportes.